Saltmarsh Sun. I have two different Saltmarsh games, one that I run in the mornings on Sundays and one that I run in the evenings on Sundays. Is that confusing for me? It is very confusing for me, yes. Does it save me any time? Not really. They've been playing long enough that they're doing completely different things in the same campaign. So I have to have totally different assets ready each week for each session. Sometimes I can recycle assets, but the longer the campaign goes on and the further apart their directions go, the less that is happening. Anywho, today was the second session of them investigating a spooky haunted lighthouse. Now, those of you who have read through the adventure Ghost of Saltmarsh, you're probably going to be like, a lighthouse? I don't remember a lighthouse. Or maybe there is a lighthouse. I don't know. I can't keep track anymore. Here's the thing. Ghost of Saltmarsh is an adventure pack. It's not really a campaign. Anybody that tells you it's a campaign out of the box has not actually read it. It is basically just like Tales from the Yawning Portal Aquatic Edition. Adventures on, near, or in water. But they were never written to go together, and even though they claim that they wrote them to go together, they don't really fit together very well. So I grabbed a bunch of other water-adjacent adventures and mashed them all together into a mini sandbox campaign. So it's not nearly as daunting as Skull and Shackles, which is like 100+ islands. It is just here on the Sword Coast of Faerun. So they're down at this lighthouse. The lighthouse is haunted. Eldritch horrors, all this kind of stuff. They've fought ghosts. They've fought blood oozes, which, by the way, blood ooze, a fantastic monster. Blood ooze is from who makes blood ooze? I think it's Kobold Press. It's in one of their two monster manuals, but blood oozes are insane. They have blood drain, and they can gain an unlimited amount of stackable temp HP and all sorts of other craziness. But what I want to talk about today is they went down to fight Grandfather, which was the boss of the lighthouse. So 2-session dungeon. I love it. Dungeon doesn't always have to take 20 sessions to do, or 2 years. Looking at you, Mad Mage. And yeah, so first and foremost, lighthouse map, gorgeous, heroic maps, always delivering the best maps, so gorgeous. Down here, this is not heroic maps. I think this is a Gabriel Pickert Mind Flayer city map or something. It's like a module tile set. Anyways, here's Grandpa. Oh, where'd he go? There he is. Oh man, so this boy right here. Wow. Aboleths are a scary monster. They are like a mind flayer fish, basically. So they have a lot of psychic powers. Now, they've gotten nerfed. I'm going to throw a huge spoiler out here for Night Below. Final boss of Night Below was like a super Aboleth. So that was the 2nd edition campaign. And they've only gotten weaker as each edition has come out. I wanted this Aboleth to be a threat to a 7th level party. So instead of using a normal Aboleth, which I think is only a CR8 creature, I went ahead and made it a Nihilithic Aboleth instead, which is a stronger CR12 version of the Aboleth. And wow, was it strong. Now, a lot of it just came down to RNGesus. The Nihilith Aboleth has a Enslave ability, which is like beyond Dominate. In fact, it pretty much says DM takes over the character. Now, I don't think that's fun for anybody. So the people that failed their save and got taken over were told in private chat, do everything you can to total party wipeout. Just kill the rest of the party. The only person that failed it, though, was Jenna. Now, Jenna is played by this guy named Remy. Remy is, without a doubt, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but it's the truth, he is without a doubt the most skilled D&D player in all of my games. There is no greater threat than him having a wizard turned against the party. This wasn't some cutesy critical role, I cast fireball on the party. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. Jenna, the Generous, is an enchanter. So the first thing she did was hypnotic pattern 3 people. They all failed. Fortunately, they had water breathing, so they didn't start drowning immediately. But they floated there while this guy went one by one and tried to enslave the cleric and the fighter. Oh yeah. While they were hypnotized, she went down to deal with the other 2 members of the party and put one of them to sleep. That's right. Put someone, a 7th level character, to sleep with a 2nd level sleep spell, and then used her enchanting gaze on the other person, and bam, disabled the entire 7th level adventuring party. Absolutely incredible. Here's the problem. I was like, is this the end of the campaign? Like, do we have a total party wipe on our hands? I run a lot of games. I've been running games for a long time. Sometimes things look bad. Mathematically, I know that they're not bad. It's going to be okay for the party. It just feels bad. That's what you're delivering. You're delivering like, oh, I'm like nervous. Are we going to make it? Challenging. And sometimes shit goes so south, so fast and so hard that I was like, it's over. Like, this is the end. This is the end of Saltmarsh Sun. Like, we're done here. And then Alvis Stormcaller was asked, what are you going to do? And this dude ran away. And I was like, and that's the end of the campaign. Like, my heart sunk in my chest. It like sunk in my chest because I was like, that is the end of this campaign. And here's the thing. If you're ever in a situation where the party wipe is imminent, you have to ask yourself a lot of very hard questions. First and foremost, what kind of campaign am I running? If you're running like a story-based campaign, like my Odyssey game on Mondays, where the characters are prophesized to go to this great battle, blah, 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 there are no party wipes, right? Like, if there's a party wipe, the gods of good are like, you idiots, and they bring them back to life, and they're like, get back in there, champ. Because prophecy has ordained that they will participate in this final battle. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. They're going to be in this final battle. If you're running a game with a bunch of friends and you're all having fun and all that, and it's going to be a total party wipe, you could do a number of things. You could have the monster start making stupid choices. Kind of hard to justify because Aboleth has an 18 intelligence, but you could do it anyways. They're arrogant. They're cocky. They have an alien mind that you can't possibly comprehend. Whatever. You could forget to use abilities. Full disclosure, this creature did not forget to use its abilities. It just didn't have any good legendary actions, which is fine because it was so strong already that any strong legendary actions would have it was horrible. You also have to ask yourself, like, am I gonna own it? Like, my players got in over their heads. They're in a bad situation. What am I gonna do? Now, here's the thing. There were clues upstairs in the lighthouse that explained a bit more about Grandfather and would have given the party like a heads up about what to watch out for. But they burned them all down with a maximized Zeal Cleric Fireball. Now, I could have provided additional clues like I did. I told them how to get into the dungeon with the blood in the lighthouse. Originally, there was no writing under the rug. The writing was on the bookshelf that got burned up. I could have tossed moved the location of the notes to a different place that didn't get burned, maybe had them find them and have a bit more information. So because they were not as forewarned as I would have liked, I was very tempted to come up with some convoluted bullshit that they wouldn't die. Like, I really didn't want to own this TPK because I felt like it was a strong opponent that they were not suitably prepared to fight. So even though I'm a pretty tough DM and I have had total party kills before, mostly in my youth, I would, in this particular instance, have been very disappointed if that's how it turned out. Fortunately, RNGesus showed up and just turned it all around. It started with Afra getting a nat 20 on a death saving throw, and that just got their spirits up and their momentum going. There was this like horrible moment where like the coolness of it all got busted, the momentum, because my internet died, dangers of running games online. I had to like reboot my modem. But during that time, I was actually able to collect my thoughts and then approach the game in a better place. And one of the first things I started doing was sort of joking a bit more to lighten the mood, because morale is huge. So if they think they're gonna lose, like, they're gonna lose. So as soon as there was something good happening, I went full like cheerleader, to be like, you know, you've got this, because they needed to believe that they could do it. And if I believe they could do it, I think that went a long way towards them believing they could do it. So uh one by one, they started like taking smarter actions, kind of getting their head back in the game, and they were able to kind of turn it around. And it was just one incredible crit after another after another. Afra, who'd been rolling terrible for like 2 games, she got a crit that just turned the whole thing around. It did like 56 points of damage. So overall, fantastic. So I guess the point of all this is, if you're faced with a TPK, it's not a bad idea, if you're feeling overwhelmed and the players are feeling overwhelmed, to just do like a timeout. Like, you know, the universe sort of delivered one to me with my modem crashing, but everybody kind of having like 5 minutes or so to sort of like catch their breath and get a drink and like walk around. We were all able to come back to the fight and be less panicked and less frightened and less scared. And we were able to once again have fun. And then for the rest of the session, every opportunity I had to lighten things back up and to point out great successes that they had, I took advantage of it. Because as the GM, in addition to being the referee, you are also sort of the director, right? And so you want the mood. You have control there through your storytelling of the mood, and the mood can be very impactful to the play style and the strategies that people use. Yeah, that is my damn. We almost had a TPK today blurb. All right, I will be back on again tonight for Saltmarsh Moon. Hope everybody enjoys their Sunday.